So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be showing you guys a garden we are making. I know some of you guys are interested in gardening, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of show you guys what we have planted. It's for the Airbnbs. It's for basically guests to come out and be able to pick their own vegetables as they stay with us. This is what it looks like. It's just geodomes. So I'm going to walk through each and every row, show you guys what we have planted. We have different things, different varieties of fruits and vegetables too. If you guys are interested, I will leave the links down below. It's called it's on www.geodomesofsouthtexas.com. Everything will be linked down below. You can check it out, read our reviews. We have excellent reviews. Been featured on a lot of cool places as well. Different types of magazines and things like that, news outlets. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and walk into the garden, show you guys what we got planted. If you guys want to stay updated on the garden, see how it's doing, the progress, what it's producing, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. Alright guys, so here is the garden. It's a pretty good sized garden. I believe it's 70 feet long by 40 feet wide, so it's a decent sized garden. Excuse me. So the first thing we have here is watermelon. These are young plants, so I did stagger plant some of these plants, which we have some in here. So those are also watermelon, but we staggered them when we planted them, so that way we can have watermelons going into the summer, hopefully. You'll see that these are already a little bit bigger, and then you have these right here that are just emerging. So all of these are going to be just emerging, and everything is done with drip tape. If you're not sure what drip tape is, I will link it all below as well for anyone who is interested on how I have time to do a lot of stuff. I basically do things that require the least amount of time, and how I did that is everything is automatically watered with drip tape, because I honestly don't have time to come out here and water it every single day or every 2 days. Everything's on a timer system, and everything's ran with drip tape. And again, I don't have time to be taking out weeds, so we use the weed barrier as well. Just try to make it as passive as possible, but still providing value for our Airbnbs. Now, the only one thing I may have to start doing is maybe catching some raccoons. Looks like we have raccoon tracks in here. But yeah, so we also have some wildflowers in here. These are going to be used to bring in the pollinators, to bring in bees. That's the only reason they're here. And I'm going to show you guys some other flowers we put in here as well. But yeah, back to the watermelons real quickly. You know, these are all stagger planted, so that way, again, we have watermelons kind of for a longer period of time. Yeah, so these are all just different types of varieties of wildflowers, again, just to bring in the bees, so that way they can start pollinating a lot of the plants. Now, I think it's somewhere in here. No, I know that where's it at? Maybe right in here. Nope. Okay, so right here. So from right here, we actually start with cucumbers. So these are going to be cucumber plants, and they look really, really healthy, guys. I mean, these are young, but they look really, really good. These are all cucumber plants, again, stagger planted, so that way we'll have cucumbers for a little bit longer period of time. Cucumbers. Now, starting from here, it's actually going to be cantaloupe. We have a couple plants of cantaloupe. Again, these we ended up planting them, starting them indoors, and then bringing them out here and planting them in the ground later, because it was a little cold. We actually had a cold front come through later than expected, so we started all these already indoors. Now, moving on over here is going to be all of our calabaza plants, or in English it's zucchini. These are green zucchini plants. They're doing really, really well. Again, these were all started indoors as well, because we did have that cold front come through. We have quite a bit of plants of these. We use these to cook a lot of dishes, so I probably will be using a lot of this vegetables and stuff like that myself, which, if you've ever had homegrown veggies and fruits, you know that there is a difference in taste and in quality and nutrition value. There's a big difference. So for those of you guys who know what that stuff tastes like, I guess you guys can assume how excited I am for, to have a place to come out here and pick my own fruits and vegetables as well. There is a big difference. So again, these are all calabazas or zucchinis, and then we switch back over to cucumbers, all in here. Now with these cucumbers, they were started indoors versus these that were planted straight from seed into the ground. So that's the only difference there. Now once we come back over here, we have a couple plants of cucumber, then we swap back over to cantaloupe, and these are all cantaloupes, but these were started in the ground and not pre-started indoors. Again, more cantaloupe seeds barely cracking open. We have a bunch of them. These are going to be, again, started from scratch in the ground. This little guy's getting, there it goes. Now, starting from here, we're actually going to have corn plants. So I'm not sure what the hell this is. This looks like a weed. So these are all going to be corn plants. And we have a couple rows of corn. So if you're familiar with corn, corn needs wind to be able to fertilize the tassels. So that's why you don't plant them in just one straight row. You kind of plant them in like a group. So that way they can fertilize each other, and that we can actually have good kernels on your corn, on your ears of corn. So again, I'm not a professional. I just do this for fun, but just doing a little bit of research, So these are going to be carrots. So from here all the way down are carrots. These were started indoors, the first couple, and these are planted straight in the ground, and they're barely coming up. You can barely see them right there coming up. And these are our corn. So moving on down, these are actually sunflowers. So sunflowers attract a lot of good bees and good pollinators too. So that's the reason we put in some sunflowers in the middle of our garden, as well as for people to be able to take pictures. So these are called mammoth sunflowers. They're really, really huge. We planted some last year just for fun, just to see what they look like. And they get really, really huge. These are going to be orange and red, I believe. Orange and red sunflowers. And then, yeah, there's some are still coming up. But yeah, they're getting there. But these, again, these are planted straight in the ground. And then from here, what did I plant in here? I think these are all wildflowers. So these are going to be all different varieties of wildflowers. It was just a packet of wildflowers. And so that's what we sprinkled in here, just to bring in, again, more pollinators. So one whole row, with the exception of that towards the end, all of this is all different types of flowers. So now moving over, which I'm actually going to be spraying the weeds here in the middle just real quick to get rid of them, because I do not want to be cutting grass in here. But yeah, moving over to the next row, these are all onions. So these are started indoors and then transplanted out here. And yeah, this is all onion, all onion. Some are doing better than others, but hopefully they'll do well. Some of the ones that had died off from our transplant, we did plant more seeds in here, so they should be sprouting out here pretty soon. This one looks like it just sprouted out again. We have a lot of onions. We eat a lot of onions ourselves too, so. Now these are going to be the regular sunflowers. These are going to be the mammoth, just traditional sunflowers. So these are going to be, they still have big heads on them. They're still huge, and they get up to like 6+ feet tall. So they're great for pictures. Actually, we have our sign right there, Geodomes of South Texas, so people can pick their vegetables and then take photos there. And here is going to be all cilantro. This is all cilantro. Some of this was transplanted from indoors. Some are going to be seeds, so they're kind of sporadic. And then again, more corn. Now we did stagger plant some of our corn. Some that did not come out, we actually just replanted them. So like this one is replanted, this one's replanted. They're replanted yesterday, so they should be sprouting out sometime next week. Moving over to the next row is again corn. Corn's looking pretty good. I'm not sure what happened here. It just looks like heat got to it. Doesn't look like a bug. And then from here, we actually alternated plants. So we have, you know, jalapeno and serrano, or serrano. Jalapeno, serrano, jalapeno, serrano. And they're just alternating back and forth. And these are going to be all planted straight into the ground. And then I'll show you some of the transplants that we have too. So these are the ones that we started indoors. So they're obviously they're a little bit bigger. They had a little bit more time to mature. You know, these, and in case you're wondering, the rocks are just there to keep the tarp paper from waving around and hitting the plants. Once they get bigger, we'll remove the rocks. Now moving over to this side is going to be tomatoes. These are actually cherry tomatoes. We have a bunch of cherry tomatoes. And again, these were all started indoors. Now the ones that did not sprout, did not do well or died off, like these, we ended up planting some new seeds. So these are seeded straight to the ground. This is a good plant right here, pretty big. Big healthy plant. And another one that we just started straight into the ground. And yeah, they're doing pretty well. And then again, more corn. And all of these, again, like I said, that did not come up, they are going to be, they're already reseeded, so they should be popping up next week. Moving over to this side, same thing. We actually got one corn there coming out. But the ones, again, that didn't pop up are reseeded already. Now this side is actually big boy tomatoes. So these are the bigger tomatoes that you typically find at the grocery stores, or that most people usually are referring to when they speak about tomatoes. These are the ones that they are. So we have 2 rows of tomatoes right here. Cherry tomato and the big boy tomatoes. So we'll go ahead and do a quick rundown on this side of the tomatoes. These are both looking pretty good. They're looking really, really good. And we did reseed some of these last week. Tomatoes do take a little bit longer to come up, so hopefully they'll come up soon. And then of course we got some tracks from raccoons. But yeah. Let me do a quick little show for you guys of what it looks like here. It's a good sized garden. Alrighty guys, so that's going to be it. That's going to wrap up this quick little video. If you guys want to stay updated on the garden, if that's something you guys are interested in, drop it down in the comments, or by liking this video, then I'll know that, hey, I want to, you know, stay up to date on how all the plants are doing. Something we may consider doing, I don't know if you guys are interested in keeping up with this. I wasn't planning on putting on the channel. Maybe I might if we have interest for it. But for our guests, we're going to plant some Dill's Atlantic pumpkins for the fall, which are the gigantic pumpkins, to see if we can actually grow some of those. We'll see, something for fun, just to kind of play around with and, you know, attract more guests that want to take photos with a giant pumpkin, right? So we'll see if we do it. If we do, you know, I'll let you guys know and let you guys have an input if y'all want to see that on the channel or not. But until next time, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.